How to install and configure the ReversingLabs Content Pack Solution for Microsoft Sentinel. This video will guide you on how to install and configure the ReversingLabs Content Pack Solution for Microsoft Sentinel. To install the solution, first navigate to the Content Hub in the menu blade. Next, enter ReversingLabs in the search bar. You should see the solution appear in the results. Click the solution, then click Install. You will be directed to an overview of the solution listing, including details about the solution and preview images. Click Create to continue. The next page is the deployment configuration. Select the subscription, resource group, and workspace containing your Microsoft Sentinel deployment. Click Review and Create. Ensure validation passes, then click Create to deploy the solution. Once the solution has been successfully deployed, navigate back to the Microsoft Sentinel Content Hub. To verify the solution was installed, enter ReversingLabs in the search bar. You should see a green checkmark icon and installed text on the solution box. To view the included contents, click the Manage button on the solution information blade. The next page will display the solution details and a list of available content items. Let's start by deploying the included workbook. We develop a workbook that can be used by anyone to gain valuable insights into their threat intelligence implementation within Microsoft Sentinel. For new and existing ReversingLabs TitaniumCloud customers, this workbook also provides a helpful API usage page. To deploy the workbook, select the ReversingLabs Capabilities Overview workbook in the Solution Content list. Click Save, then select the region you wish to save the workbook in. Please note that you may see an error notification after saving the workbook. You can ignore this error. After a minute or two, navigate back to the main Sentinel menu, then click Workbooks. Click My Workbooks, refresh the list, and you should see the workbook name followed by your resource group name. Click View Saved Workbook to continue to the configuration process. You will need to point the workbook to your Sentinel subscription and workspace. Click the associated parameter buttons and select the appropriate values. Finally, click the Save icon to keep these settings. If you are a ReversingLabs TitaniumCloud customer, you can use the API Usage tab to monitor your quotas. To do so, you will first need to deploy the ReversingLabs Check Quotas playbook, which is included with the content pack. Back in the Solution Content page, select the ReversingLabs Check Quotas playbook and click Configuration. You will be directed to the Microsoft Sentinel Automation Templates menu, where you will then select the matching playbook. Click Create Playbook to continue. In the Create Playbook Configuration menu, we recommend leaving the playbook name as is. We also recommend enabling diagnostic logs. Click Next. You will be asked to provide your ReversingLabs TitaniumCloud username and password. This will be stored in an Azure Key Vault that is only accessible by the playbook. In the Connections tab, select any existing API connections or configure them in the Playbook Designer later. Finally, click Next, then click Create and Continue to Designer to finalize the deployment. Once the playbook finishes deploying, you will be dropped into the Logic App Designer. You will need to go through and ensure any missing API connections are configured. Look for any steps in the playbook with a yellow caution icon and update the API connection. In this version of the playbook, there are 7 action steps that need to be updated, all of which are log analytics actions. If you have not previously configured a log analytics API connection for use in Logic Apps, you will either need to sign in using your Azure credentials or set up a managed identity for the Logic App with appropriate permissions to query your log analytics workspace. After fixing each missing connection, click Save to finalize the playbook. This playbook is designed to work with the ReversingLabs Capabilities Overview workbook, and there's a few final modifications you will need to make. Return to the workbook to complete these steps. Back in the workbook, click on the API Usage tab. If this is your first time using the workbook, you should see basic instructions on how to update it to work with the ReversingLabs Check Quota playbook. Copy the example path value, then click Edit, and then click the Advanced Editor button. In the Advanced Editor, press Ctrl F on your keyboard to open the search feature. Enter B9059 and hit the Enter key. There should only be 2 results. We need to update the path item within the ARM action context object. The appropriate value was shown previously in the workbook page. You will need to fill in the values for the subscription ID and resource group name where the ReversingLabs Check Quotas playbook is deployed. Once both paths have been updated, click the Apply button, then the Done Editing button, and save the workbook. Back in the workbook, click the API Usage tab, then click the Check Quotas button. In the ARM Action Flyout window, you can see details on what this action does. Click the View Request Details dropdown to ensure that the post request matches what you entered in the ARM Action context field from earlier. Finally, click Run ARM Action to check your API usage. After a minute or so, refresh the page and you should see your TitaniumCloud API connection status and details about your API usage. The ReversingLabs Enrich File Hash playbook performs basic enrichment of file hash entities using ReversingLabs TitaniumCloud. To deploy the playbook, select the playbook item, then click Configuration. You will be directed to the Microsoft Sentinel Automation Templates menu, where you will then select the matching playbook. Click Create Playbook to continue. In the Create Playbook configuration menu, we recommend leaving the playbook name as is. We also recommend enabling diagnostic logs. Click Next. In the Connections tab, select any existing API connections or configure them in the Playbook Designer later. Finally, click Next, then click Create and Continue to Designer to deploy the playbook. Once the playbook finishes deploying, you will be dropped into the Logic App Designer. You will need to go through and ensure any missing API connections are configured. Look for any steps with a yellow caution icon and update the API connection. In this version of the playbook, there are 5 action steps that need to be updated. There are 3 Sentinel actions and 2 ReversingLabs actions. For the Sentinel connection, you can sign in to enable the connection or use any of the other existing authentication methods. If this is your first time using a ReversingLabs playbook, you will need to provide your TitaniumCloud credentials in the API connection for the ReversingLabs actions. Click Add New, provide a name for the connection, then enter your TitaniumCloud username and password. After fixing each missing connection, click Save to finalize the playbook. You may now manually run the playbook on Microsoft Sentinel incidents with file hash entities, or create an automation rule to automatically run the playbook on specified incident types. Thank you for downloading the ReversingLabs Content Pack Solution for Microsoft Sentinel. Be sure to check out our other Azure offerings, including the ReversingLabs Ransomware Threat Detection feed, available in the Azure Marketplace. Click the link in the description to learn more.